Well, hi! Welcome to another installation of my top 10 PlayStation 1 games of ever. We're getting down there, aren't we? I think today is, what, number 4, 3, and 2? And then that means the next one will be one entire video dedicated to my most favoriteest PlayStation 1 game of all time! Which most of you probably already know what it is, because I've talked about it a bunch in the past, but for those of you who don't, hopefully it'll be a surprise of sorts. Let's do this! I look like I'm about to go Super Saiyan. Ah!
Hello? Is anyone here? Hello? Hello? Look, I'm sorry I bothered you, okay? Just don't come any closer. Are you listening?
Resident Evil 2. I didn't know it at the time, but when I played Resident Evil 2 at the ripe age of 8 or 9-ish, I was in the 4th grade, it would ultimately change my life, like, literally. I know I've told this story before, but in a nutshell, my friend came over and recommended that we rent this awesome new game called Resident Evil 2, and all I knew about it was that there were zombies in it, and that it was like a, what did he call it? He called it an adult game. In reality, it's M. It was rated M. And we would need a parent to help us get it. And my dad, bless his heart, was so oblivious to the whole video game scene, he willingly rented the game for us, and we brought it back, and we popped her on in the PlayStation. I had never been more terrified in my entire fucking life. I mean, sure, I knew what zombies were, but I never had seen them like this, you know? I never had heard them moaning. I never seen them bloody and on fire. It just, God, Resident Evil 2 and, I mean, you know, all the other Resident Evils, they just are, they were so good at conveying this feeling of dread and like, holy shit, these things are just merely shambling after me, but I gotta get the fuck out of here. You know, I could probably run laps around them, but they still pose such a dangerous threat, and God, it scared me. I won't go into all the details now because this probably requires like its own video, but in a nutshell, Resident Evil 2 like caused this terrible domino effect of like terrible things that impacted my pre-teenhood. Is that even what you call it? I don't even know. But regardless of being scared shitless, Resident Evil 2 fascinated me more than anything. Like, these zombies, how did they come to be? What is this Umbrella Corporation? What does the Raccoon Police Department have to do with this? You know, so it got my mind thinking, and I just really, really wanted to play more of it, but I couldn't because I was too scared, and God, years passed, but I still kept thinking about Resident Evil, and thanks to a little thing called the Game Shark, I was finally able to play this without fear. Infinite rocket launchers and health, FTW. And when I was finally able to play it, I just fell in love with it. It was everything I had hoped and more. I ended up playing all the other Resident Evils. I think the remake had come out by that point. Yeah, it took me a while to get back into the Resident Evil games, but I did it. But more importantly, Resident Evil, it fueled this thing I had with zombies that I never even knew I had. Like, I just instantly became obsessed, obviously, with Resident Evil, but more generally, zombies. I quickly became what some might call a zombie enthusiast. You know, collecting paraphernalia, reading books, looking on online forums, whatever. But nothing really manifested from that passion, that hobby, until I started listening to an audio drama called We're Alive. And We're Alive tells the story of survivors trying to live in a post-apocalyptic zombie-infested world. It's awesome shit. Anyway, I loved it so much, I reached out to the creator, wanted to see if he would like to collaborate on anything. He agreed, and the next thing I knew, I was hosting the official talk show about We're Alive. So it was kind of like how Talking Dead is to Walking Dead. I needed a co-host, and Greg Miller from IGN hopped on board. We hosted together for several months, had an awesome time, you know, flew out to California to host live shows for We're Alive and met some really cool people, and it really did change my life. I met so many interesting people that have just been amazing and awesome and so supportive and have become some of my best friends. And I really credit Resident Evil 2 for all of this, because if it hadn't been for Resident Evil 2 and my friend recommending Resident Evil 2, I don't know if I ever would have discovered this thing I have for zombies. Well, now that you practically know my entire fucking life story, let's move on. Twisted Metal 2. Oh, this game. I love this game so much. Ah, I'm so sorry you have a crack. I don't know how that happened. Do you see it? So normally I would say games like Twisted Metal 2 don't hold my interest because there's really not a deep story there. You know, there's interesting characters, sure, but it's not like you're interacting with them on an emotional level. You know, you are interacting with them. Yeah, you're blowing them up. So I'm not even sure how I even began to like entertain the idea of Twisted Metal 2 being a thing I would enjoy. But some way, somehow ended up in my console, and my dad and I just played the shit out of it. Oh my god, we had so much fun playing this game together. My go-to character was always Hammerhead. You know me, I like being the tank. My dad loved Axel. I don't know why, but he did. So it was kind of funny because here I am like this beastly tank, and then there's my dad, which is basically a man like with his arms wedged in tires, thus the name Axel. And I will let you know, we were a force to be reckoned with. We had like all these hiding spots figured out. We would like figure out ways to like efficiently troll and guerrilla warfare the shit out of the AI, and it was so much fun. It became even more fun once I discovered how to play as Minion, and then it was just awesome in so many different ways. My dad and I got like really into the game, like probably a little like abnormally into it. I remember with Axel's special, which was Axel Power, he would get so into it. So the special, it, in a nutshell, pretty much like projected cars in the air and did damage to them if you hit it right. So whenever he would like drive up to a car and like engage his special and the cars would jump up in the air or fly up in the air, he would like literally stand up and jump off the couch. Like he'd be playing and it would be, I'm gonna demonstrate for you. It would be like, Axel Power, and then he would jump and he'd be like, Axel Power. Hi. Let me proper myself. Okay, yes, permanent. But yeah, we just had so much fun playing that game, you know, discovering new like guerrilla warfare tactics and, you know, just new ways to kill people and just bitching at certain ones, like a grasshopper. We called her Humper Magic because she would like jump up in the air and just get all over your nuts, right? She's like, yeah, hump, 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 and then she would do it again, hump, 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 and that's all she fucking ever did. Fuck you, grasshopper. Breath of Fire 3. That's fire. That probably sounded really gross if you're wearing headphones, or if you're not wearing headphones. I'm sorry. So Breath of Fire 3 is one of those games that I try to revisit every like year or so because it's just that fucking good. It's like the epitome of what Brittney wants in a game. So the story is like deep and ever-changing, and it goes in weird twists and turns that you would not expect. There's an amazing cast of characters in this game, and they're all so different, and they all bring something so unique to the experience, and it's always fun to talk with them and see what's going on with them. They always have something new to say, it seems like. The combat is ridiculously fun, the fishing is the best I've ever seen in a video game, and there's just so much stuff to do when you're not like campaigning. Now, a lot of games on this top 10 list are there because of, you know, like nostalgia associated with it, fun memories, you know, maybe I was going through something in my childhood at that point. But when it comes to Breath of Fire 3, it's just that incredible of a game. That's why it's number 2. I don't really have any funny stories to like go with it, or there aren't any like super incredible memories that I want to talk about because I would have to spoil something in the game, and I don't want to do that because I know there are some of you who have not played it yet, and I encourage you, I implore you to do it. Would you kindly play Breath of Fire 3? Well, that about does it for my numbers 4, 3, and 2. Look, Ma, I can count backwards. Thank you so much for watching, and yay, if you haven't played any of these, you totally should, especially Resident Evil 2, and if you don't want to do Resident Evil 2 because you're a stubborn bastard, you should totally play the Resident Evil remastered remake awesomeness that's coming out soon. You should do that. You really should. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm excited to talk to you about my number 1 game. It's gonna be awesome, and you can totally see it in the background right now. Bye!